Welcome back to Don't Waste My Mommy.
Shall I compare thee to a summer? It's Buban.
Is it really?
Yes,
Yo,
it is.
I didn't know.
The 15th today.
15th.
Yeah. How are you doing, man?
I'm alright. I'm dead. I'm surviving.
I'm really glad to hear you are surviving. Just surviving, though.
That's like the natural state of being at this point.
It got worse.
No, like,
with every adjective.
There's like this is just the natural state of being at this point. Like it's survival mode. There's like no room for like happiness or like contentment or joy. It's just surviving.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm meeting the bare minimum requirements of existence currently.
40% pass, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with that.
Life under capitalism or whatever.
Look, what is the level of happiness below surviving?
Like depression, I guess.
I'm glad, I'm dead, I'm surviving. Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah. It's like when people ask you like, how are you? And you say, yeah, I'm fine.
Oh.
And then they're like, nah, like, how are you? And like, but
I remember we had a call like 2 weeks ago. I was like, you asked me, how are you? And I was like, I'm fine. You're like, why are you giving me an automated response?
Yeah.
And then I just started quarreling.
Nah, you have to like double check sometimes. It's just like the autocomplete, like, yeah, I'm fine.
Exactly.
Hi, how are you? I'm good, thanks, bye. Kind of vibes.
Before we start, if you're wondering why my voice sounds funny, I'm wearing a mask while we're recording because
This is a COVID-friendly
set.
set.
Yeah, I have the snoot today.
Anyway, sorry, sick. Pray for the homie.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to start off with the bullshit, or do you want to get into the...
Nah, let's start off with the bullshit. Bullshit.
I love starting with the bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's been happening in the world?
I mean, I haven't been paying attention to the bullshit, to be honest. I've mostly been paying attention to the hectic stuff. But do you have any bullshit that's going on that we need to address?
Do I have a lot of bullshit to address? I do.
Let's hear it.
I'm about to disrespect J. Cole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think that he's been on this feature run, and like people have been really on these last couple of verses he's been releasing, and to be honest, they are not world changing, and it's like classic people overhyping something J. Cole does. I'm so sorry, but lately it's been very much subpar.
I don't know how to feel about J. Cole. Like, his music is good, but it fits like a certain demographic.
Yeah.
It's not, like universal. And I think he's good at translating his type of emotion into words and song, but like he's not really, he just kind of does the same stuff. Like all of his songs kind of sound the same.
They do.
Other than like Workout, which is produced by Kanye. Like other than that era, he just kind of makes the, like lo-fi beats and him rapping about sadness over it.
Yeah. Or humble brags.
Yeah. He's very on that, like, I'm not a regular rapper. I'm not about the the watches and the cars and the hoes. Yeah. Like I'm a homely guy, and I just I sit here and I charge all the other rappers for the cuck they do.
But I am still rich.
I'm still rich. I still got all that paper, but like I'm not telling you that.
And I don't like it. Like I don't like to have money.
Yeah, it's so difficult to have money,
That's basically how I feel when I hear you rap. That's it. Like he released the song with Bia called London, and he raps in a British accent.
Is that not the London? Isn't that like a WYS
song?
No,
that's a Young Thug song. The London is a Young Thug song.
Oh, Young
Thug. The song
Thug,
is
my
called
bad.
London.
Okay.
Not.
And so he has an accent.
Yes. Capitalistic, opportunistic. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He and why are we not killing him for it? We killed Drake for it. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I haven't listened to his stuff. Like I haven't listened to the new stuff. He's not like the kind of artist where I'm like, you know, waiting with bated breath to hear his next release. Like, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I think his last album, I don't even know what it was called. Can't remember.
Off season.
Yeah, I think it was cool. It was nice. Like, I
am waiting with bated breath, and I just don't like. I just wanted to point out that this feature run is not as flames as people are claiming it is.
Nothing is as flames as people claim it to be. That's like the reality of our world now.
No, some things are as flames.
Like what? Give me one example where people like accurately hyped something up.
Grilled cheese sandwiches. Wait, something that people hype up.
Yeah, like a pop culture thing that people hyped up that was worth the hype.
That's true.
Nothing.
What? How was Adele's last album?
I didn't listen to it.
It's not worth hype. What else were people hyping up? People hyped up Donda.
No, people did not. Kanye hyped up Donda. He was solely responsible for making it the biggest deal in the entire world.
Yeah.
But
it did feel like the biggest deal in the whole
no,
world.
but do you not remember the feeling of listening any Kanye album? Like, do you not remember listening to like Life of Pablo for the first time?
Yeah.
And just being like,
I was on the bus.
what the fuck am I listening to? This amazing.
Yeah.
There's like still moments where I'll like listen to a song on Life of Pablo especially, and I'll be like, yo.
Yeah. I think we should do a Kanye song brackets on here one day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
I posted, so Riyad got me the Yeezus cassette.
Ooh.
Right? For people who don't know, Yeezus is like my top 2 Kanye albums. Like, I love Yeezus. Sadiq doesn't love Yeezus because he's racist. He doesn't want to hear about Black Power or any of those things. Like, that's why he only likes, he's racist, basically. Jokes. Sadiq has black friends. He's not racist.
What?
I'm playing.
Yo.
But so I posted on the r/Kanye subreddit. I'm very into Reddit these days.
Yeah.
And I posted like, oh, my boyfriend got me this cassette. It got like 1,000 upvotes in like a few hours, and people were boasting in the comment section. They were like, our boyfriend.
Everyone
Everyone was like, marry him immediately. Like, please send me his details. Like, I just want to say thank you. You guys.
Yo, when he told me about that, I was like, yo, do you deserve this? But nah, like, you do deserve it.
I do.
It's like top gift of all time. Like,
no, it really is. I think it's like definitely the best gift I've ever gotten. And because he kept telling me like he got me something, and he was like, it's a thing that you want, but you don't know that you want it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? But obviously, Kanye on cassette, it's like, that's all I've ever wanted in this world, but didn't know I wanted. No, it's perfect.
I think that's something that couples should really take away from this. Like, if you can tell what your partner wants without them directly communicating it to you, just via you listening to the things they say. Obviously, you listening, but you don't ever want to be that person who's like, what do you want for your birthday? I want tires.
Yeah.
Like, nah.
Yeah. Nah, he's great. He's great.
Yeah,
shout out to Riyad.
Alright. Look, you want to get into the serious life?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, it's happening again.
Yeah, so things are going worse in Palestine and in the occupied territories again. They are escalating the aggression the way that they usually do during Ramadan. Going into Masjid al-Aqsa, beating people up, stun grenades, live bullets, rubber bullets, arresting a bunch of people. I think they have arrested like 450 people or so.
Jeez. Most
of them being, like children, or not children, but like the youth, like under 18. That's just what they do during this time of year. And they do it purposefully so that they can get a rise out of the Palestinians, which is fully within their right. Like, Palestinians have the right under international law to take up an armed struggle against an oppressor. Every people have that right. But obviously, when Palestinians do it, it's terrorism. And that will then give Israel the right to go and carpet bomb Gaza, continue to arrest people, continue to expand settlements. And what's scary is that Israel has this new prime minister that he came in like last year, Naftali Bennett. He is a FARC. He's a FARC. Like, this bruh is so sociopathic. He's like, there will be no Israel if Arabs continue to live on this land. Like, he does not see a two-state solution or a one-state solution. His solution is to like exterminate the Palestinian people and like push them off the land, and that's it. And there were a couple of terrorist attacks that happened in Tel Aviv where Palestinians like stabbed some Israelis or whatever. And then he was like, you have full freedom to defend yourself and do whatever you want in response to this. So things are going pause. And yeah, it's not a good time. And I think that we're probably going to see the same thing that we saw last year. Like, that's likely going to happen.
It's about to act up, essentially.
Yeah.
This happens every year in the fast, eh?
Yeah, they do it on purpose because they know that Ramadan is a sacred month. They know that Masjid al-Aqsa is sacred, and this is the thing that will push Hamas, especially. This is the thing that will get them aggravated, and then they'll start firing rockets, and then that will give Israel the, supposed right to defend itself against fireworks. Because that's really all that Hamas has. Like, you can say whatever the fuck you want about Hamas being a terrorist organization. I have my own thoughts on that, but
you want to tell us what your thoughts are on that?
Well,
what is Hamas, by the way?
Hamas is the democratically elected governing body of Gaza.
Okay.
But they are deemed a terrorist state by Israel, and but like international standards as well. But they aren't a terrorist organization. I don't believe that they are. Wow. Because actually, this is not even my argument. This is an argument that I got from a nice white man on CNN, where no, listen to his logic, right? So the Azov Battalion is a neo-Nazi faction in Ukraine, and they have now been like allowed to be part of the actual army. Like, previously, during the 2014 was it 2014 with the annexation of Crimea and that whole war, they were a volunteer military group, but now they are completely they are part of the military. And there were a couple of awkward moments where they were having a Zoom call or something, and then the Azov Battalion was there, and then it was like a meeting with like the Greek parliament or some shit, and the Azov Battalion was there, and it was orcs, because then members of parliament walked out and they were like, no guys, not Nazis. But so someone said that what happens when people are oppressed is that nationalism begins to increase because people become protective over their group. And as a result of that, people, especially if it is violent oppression and occupation, people will resist with violence. So we can't be too hard on the neo-Nazis, because this is just what happens when people are oppressed. I said, so what about Hamas then? What about Hamas? Does it work for Hamas? Does it work for ISIS? I mean, you bomb the shit out of those countries. So do they have a right to resist violently? Do they have the right to become nationalistic and fundamentalist in their beliefs because of the oppression that they've experienced?
Nationalism.
Isn't it? Why people just be making dumb arguments that put themselves in stupid corners? Like, for what? Because you wanted to defend a neo-Nazi. You dumb. You stupid.
Yeah.
But I mean, my personal opinion on Hamas is that They have every right to resist. I don't think that they can be categorized as a terrorist organization when people, like I said, are given the right under international law to take up armed resistance against an occupying and oppressive force. They're allowed to do that. Why is it different when Palestinians do it? I mean, like, when it was last year, I think 70 Israelis were killed. I could be so wrong with those numbers. But there was like 7,000 Palestinians that were killed over the last assault in Gaza. So,
wow.
Me personally, I'm just like, well, what do you want them to do? You want them to sit in that small little area and just get carpet bombed every year. And they have absolutely no right to do anything. Gaza is besieged. There's no way to exit Gaza. Like, you've stopped them from going across the border. You stopped them from leaving via the sea. So what must they do? Just sit there and die? There's no water. There's no food coming to Gaza. You bomb them so frequently, like that the chances of them having a livelihood is basically non-existent. There's no electricity. And now it's like, well, why are they throwing us with fireworks? It's rude. We didn't do nothing. All we did was oppress them for a long time. Now they're throwing us with the fireworks and being rude and nasty and saying we being rude. We're not being rude. Fucking hell.
Sure.
What are the numbers?
So I can give you like a stat for. It's basically 13 to 1.
Yeah.
13 to 1.
13 to 1.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Bear in mind also that Israel is one of the largest armies in the world. One of the best resourced armies in the world. They have the support of major powers like the WYS. They are supported by lots of groups. They have a lot of money behind them. And so what must the Palestinians do? Just sit quietly with their finger on their lip until they are all just like wiped off their land. Don't be dumb. They have the right to resist, 100%.
My whole buzz right now, as we get back into, and it's weird to say it, get back into the conflict.
Yeah.
As you were talking, I was like, wow, I need to just chart all the characters at play here, because it's, the worst thing to say is like, oh, it's so complex. But like, there's just a lot of moving parts.
It's not complicated. Like I've heard that argument.
Morally, it's not complicated.
No, it isn't. That's like the thing. Like people say, it's a very complicated history and the Balfour Declaration and all of these, charters and whatever. And it's not complicated. It's settler colonialism. That's all you must know.
Yes.
That's all that there is to it. And I get the question quite often, like, why do you care about Palestine so much? Like, why don't you talk about things in your own country? I do talk about stuff in South Africa, first of all. But second of all, it would be so hypocritical of me to talk about what's happening in South Africa and say that the things that we are experiencing is a result of apartheid, colonialism and occupation, and then watch apartheid, colonialism and occupation happening in another country and go like...
Yeah.
Because we're struggling 30 years after the fact to get our shit together. They are dealing with it, like actively dealing with it. Like we keep hearing, everybody keeps talking about, the results of colonialization is that Chris Rock got slapped and like stupid shit like that constantly. Like everything that we experience now is because of colonialization, even the most mundane shit. And it's like, well, do you see it happening there? Does that not look like the thing that you keep opening your beak about? So I think it's like extremely hypocritical of people to, talk about how bad colonialization was for them, like in America or wherever, and not see that it's happening like right now and not do anything about it.
My favorite thing that you said was colonialization instead of colonization.
Listen! Whatever.
Anyway, we get you. Okay. And I think it's once again, time for people to have those conversations and not be afraid this time. After what happened last year, we know you aren't afraid. Jeez. We were supposed to shoot that week. We were supposed to start podcasting.
And then what happened? I can't remember.
And then some white lady went on with you.
Oh, yes! Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So this podcast would have happened a lot earlier.
Yeah, even for that white tiny calling me a terrorist, lol.
God damn.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think
want talk
about that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay. So basically, last year when Gaza was being bombed by Israeli knives, we went to a protest at Sea Point. And me and a friend were going and putting Palestinian flags on that big like sunglass statue. So, funnily enough, that statue is supposed to be Nelson Mandela's sunglasses looking out at Robben Island.
Yes.
Allegedly, said the white artist. I can go into the whole thing of that, but basically this white artist was talking cuck because he just wanted to win an art competition that would allow his art to be placed on display in a very prominent area. Prior to it being in Sea Point, looking out at Robben Island, it was on Camps Bay Beach. Now, I don't know if you can see Robben Island from Camps Bay, but funnily enough, it didn't have that message attached to it. It was only that message got attached when it was moved to Sea Point. Anyway, so we're going there and we're putting Palestinian flags on these sunglasses. And this white woman walks up to me with a fucking dog and she goes, Are you a terrorist? I said, what? She's like, wow, you're holding up the flag of terrorists. And I went in on this standing like, I went in on her. And like there were so many people standing around because people wanted to take pictures in front of the sunglasses with the Palestinian flag. And the Stani is like talking to me about how I'm a terrorist. And she just keeps going. And yeah, I posted the video on social media and it kind of went like a little bit viral.
A little bit. You entered like tiny WhatsApp sharing video status.
I'm not trying to oversell myself here, okay? It was just a, yeah. And yeah, so the following weekend we went back to Sea Point and we had like the most peaceful thing that we could think of, which was a picnic. But the point was that we would come back and occupy a space that we had previously been kicked out of, and people had been thrown with eggs, people had been sworn at, I had been called a terrorist, countless people had been told to go back to their countries.
Yeah.
And it's like, we live here, you aren't supposed to be here, motherfucker, but okay. So we went back and we had a picnic.
Yeah.
Extremely calm. A picnic.
Whew.
Like, that's all we had. It got tweeted about by, I think, like 3 Israeli journalists that were saying, like, it's getting extremely dangerous for Jews in Cape Town.
Yes.
Because someone had a picnic and they were handing out, cupcakes with the Palestinian flag on. It was extremely dangerous situation.
It's just shooting.
I was like, yo, if only you knew.
Joke.
Only you knew.
Maybe someone was spiking them in somewhere as you were giving out.
Like, it was so dumb, but yeah, that's basically what happened. But the fact that like the response from Zionists was like, oh my god, like they had a picnic and now I'm like, guys, it was a picnic. It was just a picnic. Why are you pressed? And I kept having to explain to people like, this is our country where we have freedom of expression. We have the freedom to protest whenever we want. This is a public space. And I had this argument with so many Jewish people that lived in Sea Point and that were like, well, Jews need like a place to be protected from everybody because like we're being targeted all over the world. And I was like, Sea Point is not yours. Sea Point is not your country. This is a park open to the entire world. I can't help the fact that you're scared of cupcakes and a Palestinian flag. That's not my business. Please Go to fucking Jason's or Jared's or whatever and go have breakfast and shut up. No, because people were literally like, there was like a C Point group or something that one of my friends got into, and she was kind of like spying like in this Facebook group, and they were saying like there's gonna be this picnic, and yeah, so everybody just stay in your house, and you know. I have to say I was astounded that people were this pressed about it, because previously, like, I've been part of protests at, like, you know, at UCT, at burnt tires. That's like actual like violence. You know, that's like a real protest. You know, burning tires, burning paintings, going and disrupting. Yeah, that's like when there's fire, you can get pressed. Yeah. There was no fire. There was no fire, nothing. And he was so pressed about it. Oh, it was so embarrassing to them. And yeah, like there were a bunch of Israeli journalists that tweeted about it. The chief rabbi, the chief rabbi went to the MJC and said, "Listen, this little girl is having a picnic. Please stop her from having a picnic because she's brown and she's Muslim like you. Stop her from doing this." So I was getting calls from the maids. I was like, "Guys, I'm having this picnic. I don't care. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's a picnic." Yeah. You think that a picnic is so scary and revolutionary and like such a big rebellion? Guys, this like...
don't they have like a march all the time?
They're out here crying about vaccines every Tuesday. Crying about mandates. Now you're scared. I'm having a picnic, Bethany. A picnic. Yeah. No, but it really worked on my nerves when people were like, C Point is a safe space for Jews.
Why is that your safe space?
Yeah, why does it... If your house is your safe space, fine. Don't tell me that you are building an entire community only for yourselves. It's our country. Also, we live here. Yeah? No, it made me so angry, man. And if Jewish people want to have a safe space, that's fine. Don't tell me when you're living on the fucking Atlantic seaboard, the most expensive stretch of land in the country, that you need a safe space. Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like Jewish people. This sounds like white people.
Yes,
it's not. It's not Jewish people. It's white people.
I have absolutely nothing against Jewish people. I said so many times, during that whole period when everything was happening, there were a couple of times when people were extremely anti-Semitic. Yeah. There was actually this one guy that had come to the picnic, and he had like very intense like plaques with like stuff on, and it was anti-Semitic messaging. And I walked up to this old man and I said, "Listen, uncle, I appreciate your support, I appreciate you coming here, but we are trying to have a peaceful protest. Please, can you not have anti-Semitic language?" There's nothing about this movement is not about anti-Semitism. It has nothing to do with Jewish people. There's nothing. Nothing. It's about Zionism, and it's about settler colonialism. If your religion requires you to be a settler colonialist, what must I do about that? Sorry, just because it's in your religion don't mean that I must now accept it. It's wrong. It's apartheid. It goes against international laws. And it's also not part of your religion. You made it up. People really think Muslims don't know about Judaism. Guys, remember the fact that Judaism is basically like the what's the word, Sadiq? You were teaching. Precursor, that's the word. Judaism is like the precursor of Islam. Like their prophets are our prophets as well.
This is true.
Yeah. So it's not that we have like this big vendetta against Jewish people and we don't think that they have the right to safety or nothing. I'm not, because when people kept coming to me with this, that like C Point was a safe space and, you know, Jewish people needed to feel safe there, I was like, what about the rest of this fucking country? You don't think black people deserve a safe space? You don't think colored people deserve a safe space? You want to talk about who's been persecuted throughout history? You're living on the most expensive stretch of land in the country. Your community is the community that kicks black people off the fucking street. They're just living in tents on the street and you can't fit that. The residents in Sea Point are the ones that kept asking for the homeless to be moved out of their neighborhood because it makes them uncomfortable when they walk in to get, everyone toast for breakfast at 11 o'clock after gym. So now don't come face me, you need a safe space. No. Not in South Africa. Not in South Africa where people are still being oppressed. And you live on the most expensive stretch of land on the country and you...
Not from the country. Say it. Say it.
Listen.
Say it.
Listen. That's the other thing. There's a lot of foreigners on that Atlantic seaboard, that whole fucking stretch of land. Barely anybody that owns land there is actually from South Africa. Like that Camps Bay stretch, nobody there is from here. Yeah?
That's okay. That's okay. It's just
Yeah, I'm quiet now.
Yeah, I
But
know.
it's all quiet.
I know. Look, we love people, foreigners, but Europeans. Europeans
I
is,
can't
it's a
handle
bit
it.
complicated, guys.
But yeah, when it comes to Palestine, I do feel the need to get very I do get very angry about it. I do get very emotional about it because it's something that I've been a part of since I was literally like 4 years old. When I was 4, it was the first time that I went to a Palestinian meeting, and my daddy actually made me memorize this poem. And I was like out there and like
Do you want to do the poem?
I can't remember it so
Oh
well.
my god!
I really can't. No, it was like oh gosh, how did it go? I can't remember what it was. Like something like you might burn my books and poems, feed my flesh to the dogs, spread a web of terror over the roofs of my village, but oh enemy of man, until the end of time I will resist. It was like something along those lines. It's a really beautiful poem. Like I'll send you the whole. Yeah, I'll send you the whole one. It's brilliant. But yeah, my dad has always been involved in the movement. He was also involved in like the apartheid struggle. Was part of the student movements in the 80s. Got arrested and was detained. So he's always been like an activist, like his whole life, and it was kind of just like passed down to me. So yeah, so look, when I was 4. Mans was taking me to fucking rallies and shit.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So it's something that like was kind of like drilled into me from a young age, I guess. Like I wouldn't say that like my daddy was kind of like feeding me propaganda in any way. He was very
He's feeding you the truth.
yeah, and he was also very like open for me to learn. Like he didn't ever say like go read this, go do that, nothing like that. It was just he encouraged me to be curious, and
that poem starts with they may burn our books.
Yeah.
So books are the key to
Yeah.
curiosity. I think the inventing of the printing press is probably one that changed the world.
For sure.
Because it's like
For sure.
I'm teaching about that in history right now.
Is it?
Yeah. I have no idea why I need to
There's
teach
like something
kids about
super
this.
unrelated, but like I want to tell you about it later. But like in regards to like knowledge and
Oh,
you know,
nah. Look,
yeah.
I'm teaching about European explorers right now, so it's a bit dumb, to be honest.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I've had enough. I've had enough. Yeah.
Don't you want to learn about Galileo and...
All them motherfuckers stole from the Arabs anyway.
Yeah.
They literally all like the father of economics, Adam Smith, right?
Yes.
He just stole all of his stuff from Imam Ghazali. Like he stole all of it from him. Go white man.
Go off.
Yeah, I'm so tired of those people. Anyway, yeah, like so
Classic white man. Yo.
typical. But yeah, so like when it comes to Palestine, it's like something that's very like close to my heart, and I've known lots of Palestinian people, and like we've been friends with Palestinian people like over the years, and people involved in the movement, and yeah, like I've just watched, I've watched a lot of it, and yeah, like I remember meeting this old man, this old imam. He was like super tall, and you know, like he had this like long gray beard, and I was very young. I was probably like 4, 5, 6 when I was, you know, like when I knew him. And he was from Gaza, and he would come down as often as he could and kind of like have these meetings and talk to people about what they were experiencing and so on. And he was like friends with my family, and he like took a liking to me because I was like so small and cute, like a 4-year-old, you know, saying Palestinian poems and being like, we shall exist.
There's actually a photo of baby you on top of it.
Oh yeah, there's that picture of me, like I think I was like in grade R or something, and I'm like,
I think I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute. Jeez.
Yeah, so this uncle was like really nice to me, and he brought me like a Palestinian scarf and gave me like a Palestinian pin. And I remember like the last memory that I have of him is I had like, it was like a thing that I was doing this poem now whenever there were these meetings or whatever. And after it was done, I like ran up to him and I hugged him, and he was like telling me how well I did. And he gave me the scarf and he gave me this pin. And I don't remember seeing him after that. But he went back to Gaza, and in one of the attacks he had like lost his legs. And then in 2014, when there was the war in Gaza, they bombed his masjid and he died. So like the cause is it's personal to me for a lot of reasons. Also the fact that I'm Muslim, and I obviously have a connection to, you know, to Masjid al-Aqsa and so on.
Yeah.
But it's mostly just like watching this happen before your eyes, like, and like nobody cares. And I've heard so many people over the last few days being like, the hypocrisy between the way that the world reacts to Ukraine and the way that the world reacted to Palestine. And I'm like, there's no hypocrisy. There's no hypocrisy. It's actually pretty consistent. Because when has America or the West ever given a fuck about human rights or human lives?
Yeah.
When have they ever
I was
cared?
going to bring this up.
Only when it suits their economic interests. Only then. They don't care that their soldiers rape and murder Afghan women. Now they find out that the Taliban shot an Afghan girl. Oh no! This gives us more cause to put more troops here so we can get more oil, because now we have to protect the Afghan girls. Stupid. Now, like Ukraine is just, they don't care about Ukrainian lives. They don't. They care that they have an opportunity to show their might against a pariah state, against the state that is probably, other than China, their biggest opposition, like, on the world stage. Like, they need to protect their global hegemony. So this is a good opportunity for them to do so, to fund troops and to kind of push Russia into an uncomfortable position where the state is unable to survive economically. That's all that they care about. They care about securing their own interests. So I don't expect them to give a fuck about Palestinian lives, because Israel is on their side. Israel is, they send a whole bunch of money to Israel. Israel provides them with a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So I don't expect them to care. I don't expect them to care. I also don't expect white people to ever care about brown people. Like, why must we pretend? Why must we pretend about this?
And I expect them to. The other thing I also expect is for brown people to care about brown people. And which is also a bit unfair on my side sometimes, I feel, because of
What do you mean?
people of color generally go through.
But that's the thing, like, especially in the South African context, it's difficult to care.
Yeah.
Like, it's difficult to care about anybody else other than yourselves. We spoke about this last week, but the two of us are like, we're in the elite class, basically.
1000%.
If 60% of our population lives in poverty, and we are not within that 60%.
No,
We're part of
we're
the
in the
elites.
splash zone. Like,
Yeah.
definitely.
We may not have as much money as the 1%, but
Yeah.
we have.
We're over the bread line. We can.
Yeah.
I had breakfast this morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Have
And we
breakfast
have
every
the
morning.
economic freedom
Yeah.
to have conversations about these things. We have the economic freedom that will allow us to think about geopolitics
Yes.
and conflicts in the Middle East.
Yes.
We, as majority of people of color, not people, I don't know why this term people of color is working my nerves, whatever.
Black and colored people.
Colored people, black people in South Africa, majority of our people literally don't have time to think about anything else other than getting out of a poverty cycle, getting out of an abusive relationship, a cycle of abuse, a cycle of drug abuse, like, you know, like all of these situations. It's too much.
Way too much.
I'm not going to go ask people in Lavender Hill to care about Palestine. I can't expect that.
And it's a mistake that a lot of us can make. Like I used to get pissed about it,
Yeah.
and but over time I've realized like there's almost for lack of a better term, a privilege to wokeness.
100% there is. 100%. And I think that that's something that needs to be really like spoken about a lot more, because the way that we view politics and the way that we speak about politics is not necessarily the way that the most marginalized people experience this politics. Because I was watching this, it was like a mini documentary about the homeless situation in Cape Town and the amount of homeless women that don't want to go to homeless shelters because of the abuse that they face. One of the women was a trans woman, and she said she does not want to go into any of these shelters or hostels because of the sexual abuse that she faces. Now, when we have a conversation about like transness or trans issues, in that context, it is not separate from the conversation about homelessness itself. And I think that like when our class of people have a conversation about transness, it's about like access to bathrooms and access to like things for the middle class.
Yeah.
That people are being discriminated against and they don't get in the middle class. But when we speak about transness for the most marginalized people, those are things that must be fought for everybody.
Yes.
Everybody needs housing.
Yeah.
It's not like a uniquely trans issue, because it's something that everybody is facing in that class.
Yeah. It's that's actually
Yeah.
hurtful.
Yeah, and I think like it's privileged of us to speak about like even like racism. The way that we speak about racism, like
I mean, like I was
Yeah.
thinking about so there's a lot of like older people, particularly people who are like under resourced and things like that. The way they would speak about politics or any of these types of issues is very different, because the access is different, the home situation is different. Like you
Yeah.
said, the experience is different. But the thing that annoys me is that the middle class voice is still the loudest.
exactly.
And
And the
our
point
files are going to get.
the point of the middle class is to fight for the working class, to fight for the most marginalized group in society, because we have the unique advantage of seeing both sides.
Yes.
We can see who is beneath us and who is above us.
Yes.
And the goal is whoever is above us must get fucked up.
Yes.
That's how it must work.
That's exactly
But I
how it
think
should
that the
work.
problem with people of our class, and especially leftists of my generation, what I've seen from them is not a love of the poor, but a hatred of the rich. And so their politics is not directed to save the poor, to help the poor. It is only to bring down the rich. And yes, bringing down the rich will help the poor, but like you getting angry about the discrimination that you face in your very privileged middle upper class position in a South African context, that doesn't do anything.
No,
It doesn't do anything.
Diddly squat.
And that's what I find like very frustrating about politics in a South African context, because I think a lot of our politics is unfortunately imported from America. All of these social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, all of it is mostly from an American perspective. So their culture war issues, their identity politics are brought here into South Africa and put into a South African perspective when it doesn't necessarily fit.
It really doesn't.
Like, I don't know if I told you this before, but it was like during Black Lives Matter, last year or the year before?
I think it was last year.
It was 2020.
No, it was 2020.
Yeah. So when that movement was like boosting, so many people in South Africa started to talk about the issue with policing here. And they started to point out issues where police had killed people and,
Yes,
unfairly executed people in the street, basically. And then the conversation was abolish the police and defund the police in South Africa. I said, that's the worst idea. It doesn't work. It's not the same thing. You can't defund the police in South Africa. The problem with policing is that there's not enough money.
Yes.
You can't expect a policeman that is getting paid.
Yeah, the thing is, the police are privatized.
And in South Africa, the police are paid like what, 4,000 rand a month, 5,000 rand a month. For 5,000 rand a month, I must go into the middle of a turf war.
Like, no.
No. For 5,000 rand a month, when you phone the police and say I'm being robbed by Turkopper, why must I go?
I'm not.
For 5,000 rand a month.
I must run now.
No.
I don't know about that.
And obviously there's like corruption and all of those things, but I don't think that defunding the police is like a solution. And this is like the main problem, is that I see that people constantly dragging American politics, American culture war issues into South Africa, especially like viewing things from a left and a right wing perspective, when South Africa is predominantly left wing. There's only like a few right wing parties in our country, like Freedom Front Plus and people that are dumb like that. Even the DA is like center left, like they aren't right wing. But they aren't. Like, okay, nowadays they become very like right wing in their culture war issues. Like, they talk shit about Helen Zille and colonialism was good bullshit. But like for the most part, nobody's arguing about whether or not people should have fair access to healthcare. Nobody's arguing that those things should happen. When it comes to like nationalizing the mines, nationalizing like resources, that's where there's a bit of debate and a bit of pull between right wing and left wing.
But that pull happens a lot here.
It does.
Like, I'm thinking about so when that Black Lives Matter movement happened in America, and you said it's like our views are brought in by America.
Yeah.
When the looting started here, then people were all, oh no, stop
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
So the middle class they're very partial.
Yeah.
They're partially in.
That was also like one of the worst social media scuffles that I've had was over the KZN riots, where all I said was, guys, people are poor and it's winter and people are desperate.
Yeah.
And they're going to take advantage of a situation.
And your performativeness, but a lot of people's performativeness, like, it came out.
Yeah, it was showing.
In that moment, and
it was
I
showing.
was like, oh yeah, this is who you are.
Yep.
And when it gets down to it, and you can really pull someone up, you're not gonna do shit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And like that's the unfortunate thing that I think that like classism is starting to like seep into our politics, like within the left wing, because the people that we look at as like leftist icons in America, they are not of the same class of people as the most marginalized people in our country. Like, and so when you see poor people rioting and looting in South Africa, you have disdain and disgust. When you see black people rioting and looting in America, it's were fully within their right because of the police brutality that they face. And it's like, do you not think that there is brutality and violence and oppression in being poor?
Yeah, and do you think less of people from South Africa?
Yeah.
And you are from South Africa.
It's weird. It's so weird. And that's why I say, like, I don't think that a lot of people within this, like, woke activist movement within, like, the middle class, I don't think that they care about the poor. I think that they hate the rich. And it's fine to hate the rich. The rich are worth hating for sure.
For sure.
But we don't hate them because they are rich. We hate them because they are oppressive. Not oppressive to the middle class alone. Oppressive most specifically to the lower classes, to the working class. And if you are not advocating for the working class, most of all, then your politics are completely and totally self-centered. And that's what it's become. It's become about, you offended me on social media, and now I'm gonna riot about it, and I'm gonna shout and I'm gonna scream. And it's like, to a certain extent, I also get pulled into it. I also get pulled into people saying, you know, like something racist, something homophobic, whatever it is, like someone saying something wrong on social media. I will go and I'll get angry, and I'll also start basing like, you're full of shit, blah. But then I step back and I think, like, wait, is it worth it? Who does this affect? Who does this impact? Me shouting about this, is it going to help the most marginalized? No. Why are we spending so much energy on it then? Like, why? It's infuriating.
And tiring.
Yeah.
Another episode where we end a beautiful Sunday. Super bleak.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's just kind of the state of the world at the moment. It's extremely...
Can we please get some good news?
Good news.
Good news.
Like what, Sadiq?
Sadiq has been hitched, and yeah.
Wait, like proper, like
yes,
you spoke to parents, like
yes, proper.
Yeah.
Spoke to parents. And I'm just talking about it here so that I'm just making a formal announcement. My DMs are closed. And
the month of Ramadan has been fruitful for Sadiq.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, that's all. That's the only reason I wanted to speak about.
Nice. I love it. That's your good news.
That's my good news. What's your rose?
I'm personally hoping for like nuclear warfare or
No.
something. No. I'm done.
Yeah.
Either nuclear warfare or like the Mahdi must come.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the Mahdi. Let him come.
Can we end this episode now? Oh, Jesus Christ, are we talking about the Mahdi here? No.
I'm done.
No, I just got eaten. I know,
I'm
just now.
I've had enough of it all. It's so depressing to exist in this stupid society. I hate it.
God damn.
Whatever. Wait, I do have a good thing. I'm trying to remember what it was. It could have been sarcastically good, like the end of the world is near or something. Wait, what was I going to tell you about? Oh no, that was depressing. That was also depressing. God damn it.
God damn it.
Oh, do you want to hear like an interesting like science theory that I read about on Reddit? Shout out to Reddit.
For being the best social media.
No, Reddit is fully the best social media. I don't know why people spend time on any other social media platform when Reddit is the one. There's a very interesting story behind the creator of Reddit. Man's got like assassinated by the CIA, I believe. But we're not going to get into that.
What? What?
Nah, that's a whole story. We can talk about that another time. But so there's this theory where people are wondering, you know, like why we haven't found life on other planets. Mm-hmm. And why we haven't, you know, gotten in touch with anything else in the universe. Why we think we are the only, you know, like...
people.
Yeah. Life on within the universe.
Yes.
And basically it's called the dark forest theory, I believe, which says that in a dark forest, predators that cannot defend themselves and are not ready to defend themselves will be quiet. Only stupid animals will open their beak and make noise and then get ready to be eaten. And basically we're making a lot of noise. And maybe the other aliens aren't making noise. Because they're like, we're gonna fit you.
This is why I don't believe in science.
You have to believe in science. Isn't that so fun?
No.
Imagine like all the other aliens are just like watching us like, that's damn nice. Look at him. Look at them carrying on. We're gonna eat them later. I believe that could be the truth. I wouldn't even mind, my bro. I wouldn't even mind.
You are currently what's that word with the N?
Nihilistic.
You nihilistic right now, and
It's not only that, I'm also bored.
no,
I'm bored of watching the same cuck. We're busy watching the Cold War again. I'm so tired of it.
Yeah.
We did it already.
Whoever's
Why
writing
must we
these
do it
storylines
again?
needs to be
Yeah.
just
You know what is something that I also wanted to talk about now? I was watching Westworld.
Oh my.
Have you watched Westworld?
No, I haven't watched Westworld.
Westworld is mad.
Isn't it cowboy aliens?
Nah. It's like a post-apocalyptic, not post-apocalyptic. It's like dystopian future vibes. Aliens, you know, AI passing the Turing test, and you don't know if they people or not. Kind of vibes. It's really interesting, but like one of the things that it made me think about now was like, what if you get to China now and you don't know what to do? Like, what is China gonna be like? Isn't the most enjoyable part of life the ability to choose and the risk of choice? The possibility of consequences?
No.
Now in China you're like, oh look, give me like this thing. And you just get it. Where's the fun in that?
I disagree though with that
What do
wholeheartedly.
you disagree with?
Choice is not fun.
I love choices.
Choice is tussle, actually, and yeah, that's where all the think of all the times you had to make a hard decision.
Yeah.
Was it fun?
No, but if I made the right decision, it was good.
No.
If I just get something.
What if you just get the answer?
But
No, how's that put?
because it's like I didn't work for it to just happen.
You're too hard on yourself, man.
And
You
okay,
need to
so
drink a green juice.
you're not thinking
You
about.
need to do some yoga.
Oh my god. Yeah, let me do some self-care.
You need to have a bath, listen to some neo soul, R&B, all that type of stuff.
I hate being content.
Why?
Because you know what, Ned? This is actually something that my psychologist told me. She told me that anger and hatred are dynamic feelings because they keep you moving. Whereas sadness and depression and, you know, that overwhelming feeling that everything is outside of your control, that is it's a stagnant feeling. So I'd rather be angry and keep it moving than sad.
And keeping it... no. No.
That's what my psychologist said, and I'm trusting her. Let me stay mad.
You need a new one. Alright. Are we headed out?
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for
Yeah.
joining us. Join us next time and we'd speak
Free
about
Palestine. And yeah, just free Palestine. And stop being rude. That's basically all I have to say. Or keep being... I don't care. Bye.